There's a classic Groucho Marx routine where he's in a very exclusive white tablecloth restaurant, and eventually at the end of the meal that he's having with his friends, the waiter puts the tab down in front of Groucho, and Groucho looks at the check and he says, "This check is an outrage." He hands it to his buddy and says, "I wouldn't pay it if I were you." Well, in our recent history as a state, and I think most of you would agree, in our recent history as a nation, we've been a bit like Groucho Marx at the restaurant table, except instead of passing on the check to our dinner companions in the here and now, we've also been passing on that check to future generations, to the next generation. And adding insult to injury, we're also passing along collapsing bridges and crumbling infrastructure, devastated cities, and a depleted and exhausted military. We're passing along temporary learning shacks instead of modern classrooms. We're passing on a plague of home foreclosure where once there was rising home ownership. We're passing along unaffordable college tuitions where once there was opportunity for all. We're passing along a federal government so weakened by the gluttonous politics of the present that it cannot even manage to get bottled water into the dying citizens of a hurricane-ravaged city like New Orleans. We continue to proclaim those shared goals that at the end of the day needed to unite us in our purpose. And what were those goals? The same as they are today. To strengthen and grow the ranks of our middle class, including our family businesses and our family-owned farms. To improve public safety and public education in every part of our state. And to expand opportunity. The opportunity to learn, the opportunity to earn, the opportunity to enjoy the health of the people we love, and to expand the opportunity to enjoy the environment we love to more people rather than fewer, most importantly, future generations. With a lot of hard work and with a lot of tough votes, we were able to restore fiscal responsibility, starting by reducing future spending growth by about $2 billion. Number one, we raised what was the 42nd lowest sales tax in the nation from 5 cents to 6 cents, and we dedicated a portion of that increased yield to our Transportation Trust Fund, a fund like Program Open Space that had been hit over the years time and time again, rather than going to traffic solutions and mass transit. Also raised by $1 the tobacco tax. Secondly, we passed the first progressive income tax, believe it or not, the first progressive income tax in the history of our state, asking those who made more than $1 million a year to pay more while reducing the rate slightly for others and really substantially for families earning less than $125,000 per year. Combining the effects of the progressive income tax with the sales tax, 46% of Marylanders actually ended up seeing their state tax burden reduced. By restoring fiscal responsibility, we are now able to make meaningful investments in what we consider our state's greatest asset, which is the talents and the brain power and the ingenuity of our people. As part of these investments, we are now able to hold the line for going into now the third year in a row of freezing in-state college tuition. I don't believe that there's another state in the union that is doing that in these tough times. Many of the tax policies of the Bush administration are the reasons that that our federal government has become enfeebled. But I do give him credit. Ideologically, he believed that government was a problem. Ideologically, he believed that our government should be small and weak, and he's delivered on his promises and his goals. And so I do give him credit. I don't agree with him. I don't think that by making our federal government weak and incapacitated to be a partner again with states in making progress, I don't believe that that's good for our country. But I do, give the president his due in accomplishing those things. Part of the reason that we have the big deficits, and the reason we have the big deficits, the reason he took the Clinton surplus and turned it into a deficit is because we started pushing through tax cuts, tried to make them permanent for the very wealthiest among us.